Alright guys, what's going on? So I'm going to go over the second type of problems when completing the square. And this is when we have a coefficient in front of x squared, so when our a is greater than 1. If you have not watched the video from Friday, or if you were not here Friday, you need to go on to Schoology and watch that video first. If you have not done this before, if you have not solved by completing the square, then you need to go watch that first before you watch this, okay? Now, so if you remember, we would rewrite it as ax squared plus bx equals c. So this is still the same thing. So this positive 5, we're going to move it to the other side. So that minus 5 is going to go to the other side. So we're going to add 5 to both sides. So this is going to be 4x squared plus 8x equals 5. Right? Then you're going to divide the equation by a. So here my a value is 4. So that means each term you're going to divide by 4. Okay? So here these 4's divide out, so I'm left with x squared. Here 8 divided by 4 is 2, so this is 2x. And then 5 over 4 is a fraction. I don't want decimal, so I'm going to leave it as 5 over 4. Okay? Then you're going to use that completing the square method where you take half of b and then square it. That's the whole purpose of completing the square. So my b value is 2. So I'm going to get 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 1. Then 1 squared equals to 1. So I'm adding 1 to both sides. So this is what you're going to add to both sides. So you're going to add 1 here and add 1 here. Okay, so then this is going to be x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals, now here I have a fraction plus 1 whole. Okay, you have to find the common denominator, and here the common denominator is 4. So it's going to be 5 over 4, and then let's think about it. A common denominator of 4, but it's a whole. If you have a whole, we know dollars can be split up into quarters, right? 4 quarters are in a dollar. If you have a whole dollar, that means you have 4 quarters. So you would have 4 quarters out of 4 quarters. So that's a whole. Okay? And then I can factor this out, right? This, how you factor the perfect square, is your answer is going to be whatever you divide by 2. So this is going to be x plus 1 quantity squared equals, and then to add fractions, you only add the numerator. So 5 plus 4 is 9. And then the common denominator of 4 stays. Okay, then you take the square root of both sides. Remember, there's 2 cases, the plus and minus. So this is going to be x plus 1, but it's plus or minus, and it's going to equal. Now, for fractions, whenever you take the square root of a fraction, you split up the square root. So the square root of m over n, so whatever values of m and n are, you take the square root of each of those. Okay, that's how you take the square root of fractions. So here, this is really going to be the square root of 9 over the square root of 4. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 4 is 2. Okay, and so then here, I split up into my 2 cases. Right, it's x plus 1 equals positive 3 over 2. So x plus 1 equals 3 over 2, and then x plus 1 equals negative 3 over 2. So I subtract 1 from both sides. Now, again, we're dealing with fractions. Okay, so what's going to happen here is this 1, I have to change it to 2 over 2. And same thing here. It's 2 over 2 because your common denominator is 2. And then you just subtract the numerator. So here I have 3 minus 2. That's 1 over 2. And then here I have negative 3 minus 2. So that's negative 5 over 2. So my 2 solutions for my warm-up, or for the example, is x equals negative 5 over 2, negative 5 halves, and 1 half. So that's how you complete the square with a coefficient of 8. You multiply, or you divide by that coefficient. Okay, so let me do another example, and I'm going to have you try the next two. All right. So here I move that 6. So it's 2x squared minus 8x equals negative 6. Right? You divide the whole equation by my a value. So this is x squared minus 4x equals negative 3. Then your b value, you're going to take half of that. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. And then you're going to square that answer. So negative 2 squared is positive 4. And that's what you're going to add to both sides of the equation. Okay? So this becomes x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals negative 3 plus 4 is positive 1. This factors out to be x minus 2. So x minus 2 quantity squared equals 1. Then you take the square root of both sides. If I'm going too fast, please slow down the video. So then you have two solutions. So it's plus or minus x minus 2 equals 1. The square root of 1 is just 1. And then you split it up into your two cases. X minus 2 equals positive 1. X minus 2 equals negative 1. Add 2 to both sides. Alright. And then in the end, your solutions. So 1 plus 2 is 3. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. So your two solutions are 1 and 3. Okay. Try the next two. And then I'm going to do them already, so it's going to be worked out. I'm not going to talk through them. I'm just going to do them. Try the next two, and then I'm going to do number 4 with you. Okay, try the next two, and then I'm just going to show you the answers. Okay, so for number 2, here's your work. That's the answer. You should have gotten negative 2 and positive 8 for your solutions. Okay, now try number 3. Try number 3. Pause the video and try number 3. Okay, so here's your work for number 3. The solutions are negative 4 and 2. This is your work, and let's go on to number 4. So number 4 is going to have an irrational solution, and that's where you're going to have to work on the radical. You're going to have to simplify the radical. So, but everything else is still the same. So you add 3 to both sides. So this is going to be 3x squared minus 6x equals 93. Then you're going to divide everything by 3. So it's going to be x squared minus 2x equals 93 divided by 3 is 31. So my b is negative 2, so negative 2 divided by 2 equals negative 1. Negative 1 squared equals positive 1. So you're going to add 1 to both sides. So this is x squared, and then minus 2x plus 1 equals 32. This factors out to be your b value. So it's x minus 1 quantity squared. And this is plus or minus. And then equals 32. Just bring down 32. And then you take the square root of both sides. Oh, crap, I went ahead of myself. That's not plus or minus yet. First, you got to take the square root of both sides. Then you get plus or minus x minus 1 equals the square root of 32. Now, square root of 32, I don't know. So you have to come off to the side and simplify that. So 32, remember you're dividing by your prime numbers. 32 divided by 2 is 21. Or no, I lied. 16. Then I divide by 2 again. That's 8. Divide by 2 again. That's 4. Divide by 2 again. That's 2. Okay. So then you circle your pairs. 2, 2, and then open 2. So that means this is 2 times 2 square roots of 2. So this 2 came from one of the pairs. This 2 came from the other pair. This 2 is from the uncircled. And so this is where you split up your cases. So you have x equals no, not x equals x minus 1 equals 2 times 2 is 4, so this is 4 square root of 2, and x minus 1 equals negative 4 square roots of 2. So you add 1 to both sides. Now, 1 plus 4 square roots of 2 is exactly what I just said. It's 1 plus 4 square roots of 2. You're not going to combine them. There's no way. I don't know what those values are. And again, x equals 1 minus 4 square roots of 2. So here, your solutions are 1 minus 4 square roots of 2 and 1 plus 4 square roots of 2. Okay, so that's how it would look for irrational solutions. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask me. You go ahead and do your Delta Math assignment. I added more problems on there. All right.